We've seen Jadon Sancho, of course, featuring Manchester United's pre-season friendlies. This is what Ten Hag had to say about the Englishman. We spoke well. Everyone can make a mistake. If the player reflects on this well, you draw a line and move on. This club needs good players, and one thing is certain, Jadon Sancho is a good player. I hope that we still click and that he will contribute to our success. Yep, Mark, everything you would expect a manager to say, I suppose.
Well, he probably should have said it a bit earlier, like last season when it all got out of hand, didn't it? I mean, it did. It was something that came out of nothing, really. It was basically Jadon Sancho had, taken umbrage at being told that he hadn't trained well the week before. It ended up being a 9-month kind of spell out of the team off to Borussia Dortmund. So I think Ten Hag has taken a pragmatic view. Whether he's been urged to take that pragmatic view by his bosses and suggested that, look, you've got a really good player here that you need to get more out of, I think that's more likely than Ten Hag suddenly waking up in the summer thinking, yeah, I'd really like to bring Jadon Sancho back. But I think it's good for Man United that if Sancho can play like he played for Dortmund in the Champions League last season, they've got a really good player there. Or if he gets back in pre-season, looks okay, they might be able to get him on, move him on to find a buyer for the player. So whatever happens, it's better. It's a better situation than it was five or 6 weeks ago. So I'm not sure Sancho will cut it at Man United. I think he's had long enough there. I think about maybe 2 or 3 seasons now. He's never quite shown the player he can be. So I think this is more of a short-term fix. But at least it's some sort of fix that it means that Sancho, United, Ten Hag can get something out of it. But I do think that by the start of the season, he'll probably find a new club somewhere.
Mario, do we ever really forgive and forget?
Sounds deep.
I mean, look, you forgive, but you don't forget. I don't think, and Ten Hag, you understand the way.
Yes,
we're
talking
about
yes.
This
is Thomas will be proud of you, Mario.
If you are a coach like that, he knows what's happening. He knows what's going on. He knows what he had to see. He signed a new deal, Ten Hag. Then he needs to look at a Sancho, because we're talking about Sancho before he came to Man U. Everybody was raving about it, including myself. Liked him, could take players on and show the ability that he had. Then, okay, Dortmund, I saw it coming back. And now he goes back to Man U. The only thing he can say now is like to get something out of it. If he's not performing like they want him from the get-go, I'm talking about. If he's not doing that, they're going to look at somebody else, but they have to bring up the value. And the only way to bring up the value is you have to come together again. And that's what Ten Hag did. Came together, making sure that he feels good, and hopefully you get something out of it. And if not, like Mark said, they probably will part ways, because I don't know if he can make him... Because if you have an argument that long as a player, will your player still trust you? That is the question you're always going to ask yourself as a manager. And if that doesn't happen, it's not going to look really good there. So that's why it will become part ways.
Stevie?
Well, there's 2 things in my head. One is, I know a certain previous Manchester United manager who, when Jadon Sancho walked back in the door, would have grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and kicked him so hard up the backside.
That was aggressive.
Back spinning out the door. And the other thing is, when he actually did
In the good old days.
when he actually did play before he fell out, he looked as though it was too much for him.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't...
This is not going to work.
I don't see how it is.
So where does he go?
Dortmund.
Dortmund seems the obvious.
Third time's the charm?
You know, do Man United just cut the losses and just get rid of him? Or does he just hang about in the wings till his contract's sort of nearly up and then figure it out? I don't see how it changes. I just don't. The most important thing is, on the field, it looked as though being at Man United was too much for him.
Back to, well, if not Dortmund, somebody in Bundesliga. It just hasn't been a good fit. And look, he goes to Germany, outstanding. Manchester United play, what, 100 million plus for him. Either doesn't settle in Manchester United or the Premier League, take your pick as to which it is. Goes back to Dortmund, outstanding. Dortmund get to the Champions League final. I don't think, well, I think Ten Hag is doing this exactly as he should. Involving him, keeping him playing, you're so happy with him. So then, all of a sudden, if somebody does want to come in for him, they have to pay that little bit extra, well, a little bit more than if he wasn't playing in pre-season and Ten Hag still wasn't speaking to him. So you're playing this right. And now, again, if Jadon Sancho hadn't had that second spell last season at Borussia Dortmund, I would be far more sceptical to pay the kind of money that Manchester might even interest Manchester United. Not what they're looking for, might even interest. But he did, so somebody takes a chance.
Let me go back to your little comment there about the good old days. The only thing I can guarantee you is when Jadon Sancho is sitting in that dressing room and Ten Hag's coming in and talking to everybody, all the other ones are sitting going, yeah, he's back. Yeah, he didn't win. Who won the battle here? Jadon Sancho? This guy, we can take advantage of this guy. That's what they're all thinking.
Take advantage of who?
Ten Hag.
Really?
He's been told to take him back, and Ten Hag's done what he's told, like a good little
So you think
boy.
that then sets a precedent that others...
100%.
That's a bit harsh.
100%. A football dressing room, let me tell you something. It's a tough old place to survive. And the one thing that you do is you're always looking for a weakness, whether it's the manager, whether it's the coach, whether it's the guy upstairs giving the contracts, doesn't matter. You're looking for little weaknesses that you can take advantage of somewhere down the line. And when Ten Hag comes in and gives Sancho a nice little cuddle... And
I don't think he's giving him a cuddle. I don't think he's done that.
Oh, he's giving them all that.
No, there's been no cuddles.
Oh,
Where are the
yeah.
cuddles, Stevie?
Oh,
Maybe ask him
yes.
for dinner.
Oh, welcome back. Yeah, good. Well done.
I don't know. You've...
Let me tell you, he's already lost. As soon as Sancho walks in
Yeah, the cuddle
door, he's lost.
Mario, they're cuddles.
Maybe ask him for dinner, like you said, you know. Maybe he said to me, let's grab a bit. But look, away from that, I think what Shaka said was exactly, I mean, I highlighted, it's a setup, you understand, in the sense of this cannot take too long. Because this also the guys that come, you know, like came and, you know, the guy that took over and Ed and work. Okay, then Ashworth came also. He said he started working straight away. When he said that, you know, he came out and said, when I arrived, I started working straight away. That sets up how they think about the business-wise. Also, the club has to be healthy. The only way to be healthy is making sure that everybody is there, has the same mindset. So that's why I said it's just a matter of time. If nothing happens, it's because Sancho is playing good. And if not, they will look to let him go, because Ten Hag will not want somebody that affects the moral of the team. Because we saw what he did with when he just came. That was the hardest thing for him. But you knew it was going to happen when he get the fallout with Ronaldo. You saw what happened. So that was the beginning of his time frame when he started to work there and dealing different with it. When he was in Holland at Ajax, it's different. When you deal with a star there, the club, the country maybe is smaller and try to understand you. But when it comes to England, it's a totally different beast. And that's why he will not allow Sanchez to make movements too big for him.
Mario, to Stevie's point, if you're in that Manchester United dressing room, are you going, oh, hello, look, hey, you could take advantage of this manager?
Yeah, I think what Stevie says is more like we are humans, you understand, as footballers. We are always questioning who is standing in front of us. Why? Because we want to make sure that we have an ultimate leader in front of us. The moment we feel or we have doubt in that leader's possibility, that's when we start to question and do things that is sometimes against that leader. And it sometimes comes out, you know, because sometimes you become creative and you keep your mindset in the right direction. Nothing bad happens. But the moment you start working against him, it's not going to look cute, because you're never going to beat the manager, because he's always going to win if he does well, I'm talking about. But if he's not doing well, it falls out and it becomes a big rel. And that's kind of what happened the beginning when Sanchez kicked off. So Stevie, I totally understand, and it is like that. It's no different.
Where does Sancho go, Mark?
Well, about a year ago, Chelsea tried to sign him, and that was part of the reason why he wasn't particularly happy at the start of the season. No, well, exactly, yeah, Chelsea got to sign everybody. So that was last August. So, you know, Chelsea are always a possibility. And I disagree with that a little bit. I don't think the Bundesliga is his only route. I think because of what he did in those Champions League games against PSG, I think there'll be a market in the Premier League. You can see the likes of West Ham, Chelsea, maybe Newcastle, the clubs that have got a bit of money and a bit of ambition that want to kind of get to the next level. They'll see Sancho and think, he's only 23, he might go again, but then again, he might not. But I do think that what happened at Dortmund will give him more options. And I think the guys are right. I think this is just a move to get him a move, just to make sure he's a more saleable asset, in the sense that he's no longer training with the reserves. But it's an uneasy truce, this. It reminds you a little bit of when Carlos Tevez went back to Man City under Mancini. They went back because the club, the senior figures wanted it to happen so that it would make him easier to get rid of at some point down the line. It never worked. And I think Sancho's the same. He's not been good enough for Man United for the last 2 or 3 years to make United really try hard to keep him. But the guys are right. The fact that the players will look at Ten Hag and think, yeah, I'm not sure about you being this tough disciplinarian that you say you are because you've lost this battle. Anthony is another issue that, the players look at Anthony and think, well, he never plays very well. Why are you always picking him? So there are a few issues for Ten Hag to address. It's all been there's been a bit of a rose-tinted spectacles look at United this summer because he's got this stay of execution. They've triggered an extension to his contract. So, Ten Hag's the man. But the reality is, a lot of the questions that were unanswered last year are still unanswered now. And it'll only take a couple of bad results at the start of next season for it all to flare up again. And United haven't done enough business yet for that all to go away. So, the jury's out on Ten Hag, but everything's good at the moment. But they've only played 2 friendly games. So we'll wait and see how it goes.